Hi everyone. Today I am covering the unsolved disappearance of Lauren Spierer. The contents of this video will include an introduction, the who, what, when, where, and why of Lauren's case, my popular and prevalent theories, as well as my own theory and a works cited. Introduction. Who is Lauren Spierer? Lauren Spierer was born on January 12th, 1991 to Charlene and Robert Spierer, as pictured with her to the right. She also had a sister, Rebecca, and the family lived in Scarsdale, New York, not too far from here. She graduated from Edgemont High School in Scarsdale in 2009 and later went on to enroll in Indiana University, where she was majoring in textiles and merchandising. She was a pretty small girl. She was only 4'11" and she only weighed roughly 90 to 95 pounds. She had beautiful blue eyes and blonde hair. She was described as an active member of the Jewish community and was involved in her faith and planted trees in Israel at one point. Also important to note is that she had a heart condition since childhood, which will be important for later. So, what happened to Lauren? At the time of her disappearance, Lauren was dating her high school boyfriend, Jesse Wolfe, who is also pictured to the right. On the early morning of June 3rd, 2011, Lauren was last seen in Bloomington, Indiana on 11th Street and College Ave, walking away from Jason Rosenbaum's apartment around 4:30 a.m. and heading to her own alone. She was last seen wearing black leggings and a white t-shirt as pictured to the right. Also important to note is that her keys and her purse were found on the route she was taking back to her apartment that night. What happened continued. Jesse was the one to report Lauren missing to her parents and to the police after not hearing from her for a while. He is pictured to the right. Earlier that night, Lauren had friends over at her apartment to watch a basketball game and drink wine. Wolf recounts that he was at his own apartment that late night, early morning, but the police can't really disapprove or approve his alibi. He recounts that Spierer texted him when she was going to bed after watching the basketball game, but instead she left for Rosenbaum's party. That night, Lauren had been partying with Corey Rossman, as pictured to the right, and there was speculation that there was drug and alcohol use at the party they were attending at Jason Rosenbaum's townhouse. Lauren and Corey later that night entered Kilroy Sports Bar around 2 a.m. and left just a half hour later. They began walking back to Lauren's, but were encountered by four male students, one of whom punched Corey. They continued walking back to Corey's apartment around 3 a.m. However, CCTV footage shows that Lauren was very visibly intoxicated. She couldn't walk well, she was stumbling, and things like that. When Lauren and Corey reached his apartment, Corey threw up on his carpet. He was inebriated, not in a good state at all, according to his roommate, Michael Beth, who I could not find pictures for. Michael recounts he put Corey to bed and took her, Lauren, to their friend's, Jason Rosenbaum's house next door. Jason suggested Lauren sleep on his couch because she was too intoxicated. However, he argues that Lauren insisted she keep going and go back to her own apartment, which we know that she did do. Lauren left Jason's house at around 4:30 that morning on June 3rd, 2011, and wasn't heard or seen from again. Lauren's boyfriend, Jesse, reported her missing after missed messages because Lauren's phone was left at Kilroy's bar that night, where she had been with Corey. Now, I've thrown a lot of names out, but here is a list of people who are primarily involved. Number one is Jesse Wolfe, Lauren's boyfriend, followed by Corey Rossman, her friend, Michael Beth, Corey's roommate, and Jason J. Rosenbaum, neighbor and friend of Corey and Michael, and friend of Lauren. Also, the last person to see Lauren alive. There's a couple of theories into Lauren's disappearance and what happened to her. Primarily, there are many speculations that Corey, Jason, and Jesse knew more about Lauren's disappearance than they were admitting to, but they gave full cooperation to the police. A few of them even took polygraph tests. So they're still persons of interest, but they are not currently suspects. Extremely important to know here is that there is speculation that the four male students that Lauren and Corey saw previously in the night, and one of whom punched Corey, were actually friends of Lauren's boyfriend, Jesse. If so, if this is true, or even just it's good to think about, is it possible that they contacted Jesse about Lauren being with another friend or even another man while she was drunk? An additional speculation is about an ex-convict who was in the area at the time, James McClish. He had been convicted for assaulting women, and he owned a white truck similar to one found in CCTV footage as pictured to the right. But he took a polygraph, it came back clean, and he cooperated with the police, so they felt he wasn't the right guy, and he's not a suspect. Continuing on, a lead police were suggested to follow was into Robert Strange, a member of a Sons of Silence gang, but he was cleared as well. Perhaps the most interesting theory, to me at least, it came from a tip from the Spierer Find Lauren website, which is still open and available today. That tip led them to Indiana prison ex inmate Corey Hammersley. A fellow inmate revealed that he heard Hammersley confess the girl died because of an overdose at a house party, and the people decided to throw her body in the Ohio River. Former FBI cold case agent and private investigator Brad Garrett, who was hired by the Spears, says that this is the most likely sequence of events, but there's no real evidence to back it. My theory on what happened to Lauren is aligned with the theory of Corey Hammersley that I just previously listed. I believe, unfortunately, that it is most likely that Lauren Spierer died by accident due to her heart condition and the drinking and possibly drug use she was doing that night and early morning at the parties and at the bar, and that some freak accident occurred and somebody hit her body with the intent of her to never be found again. Well, it is incredibly tragic. I do believe Lauren Spierer is deceased and that she has been since her disappearance in 2011. And here is my works cited. Thank you.